Good afternoon, fellow ruminators. Welcome back to another session, Rumination with Andrew. Thank you so much for joining us as we're about to discuss a very important topical matter. And this afternoon, we are going to look at Jamaica in the news again, right? Portmore and the Portmore strikes. And should Portmore become a parish? That is the question, or we have a multiplicity of questions in Jamaica, a multiplicity of warfares, because we are a nation at war amongst ourselves. Have you ever wondered why is it that our country, it's almost like it's in our blood. We just like to fight. We like to go to battle, right? And we fight about very stupid things, very childish and infantile stuff, such like food and who is, wearing the best shoes or stepping on somebody's shoes. We war over very, very, the inconsequential stuff, right? Stuff that people perhaps would turn a blind eye to, or they would just sit down and have a very intelligent discussion about to resolve our problems. Are we a people that know how to resolve problems? Or is it that we don't know how to solve problems, even minute problems? I think the latter is true. I think that we have a problem with solving problems. We just like to shout at each other, and we're hostile people. We don't like to sit down and listen to each other and to see if we can agree and or disagree to agree. I think that we want everything. If it's not my way, then it's the highway. I think that's the sort of Jamaica that we have produced, that we have nurtured over the years. So now we have in the news, people are wondering, should Portmore be made a parish? The GLP desires, at least the GLP officials desire that Portmore should become a parish, while it seems to me that the PNP establishment does not desire. Well, we can't know what they desire or what they don't desire. What we do know is that they like to oppose when they're in the opposition seat, just to, for political gainmanship and political convenience, because they have to do some opposition. I mean, and that is what happens in Jamaica. Now, the fact of the matter is that, and before I continue with the video, please make sure you like the videos so that the algorithm can push the videos along. If you don't like the videos, the YouTube algorithm is not going to push the videos along. And it's also very important that you leave a comment to show that you are interacting with the videos. Now, these are robots that control the videos, so you must understand that that is how the system works, and it is just based on money, right? So please like the videos. I'm not here for the likes, but that is how the system is designed, and I have to work with the system, so sorry about having to ask you for likes. I wish I didn't have to do that, but that is how it is done. And sometimes you do finish the videos, and I do sometimes finish watching videos without giving it a like, but it's very important. So I'm prompting you at this point in time to the give the video a like. Hit the like button, right? And after you've watched the video, leave a comment. Now, what I think is that we have more substantive matters to discuss and to solve than Portmore becoming a parish. I don't think Portmore becoming a parish should be at the top of our agenda right now. I think we should be concerned about building new hospitals. And some people say that that is in the pipeline, and new hospitals, maybe one or two, but we need more. Remember now that one or two hospitals are not sufficient. We're talking about decades of lack of enough hospitals or sufficient hospitals, adequate hospitals on the island. So we need as many hospitals as we can. And we need also modern equipment in our hospitals. This morning, the Gleaner is also reporting that there is some strike in the medical sector between the doctors and the government. I didn't read the article, but it seems like there's a strike. Also on TikTok, and it seems it's credible because it's coming from a credible news source, that there is about to be strike also in the education sector. Seems to me that the government is not desirous, or seems to want to put a halt on giving assistance, mentor assistance to teachers who are pursuing graduate studies. That's what it seems. I'm not sure, you could clarify that to me. But Jamaica seems to be a country of strikes. Many strikes are happening. Right now, we're also seeing the developments with SSL and Usain Bolt requesting that he wants back his money, which he should get back his money. That's lots of money. It's $1. Even if it were $1 that he had invested, he should get back his money. Thou shalt not steal, right? Very important that our Jamaican elites understand that. Thou shalt not steal. Even if it's 10 cents, that's his money, not yours. But, we're understanding that it's, 6.2 million that he invested, and it seems that the interest and whatever money was, put on it, that it accrued or it's increased, augmented to 11.2 million US dollars, and he has lost all of that money. And all of these things are in the news media concurrently, simultaneously, and people are confused. They're wondering, where is Jamaica going? Because we are quarreling about should Portmore become a parish, and we are arguing strikes about, with the medical doctors and also with the educators. So we see a Jamaica that is unraveling, a society that seems not to be settled, and it's not a country that is peaceful, to say the least. And that's why perhaps we're seeing lots of crime and violence in that country, because we have never been settled. We have never been a nation that we can say is stable and has some form of stability. It appears so, but it doesn't, right? There's always something going on, and if not one, many things happening at the same time. And we just put a Band-Aid onto these problems, and then they resurface up to 2 or 3 years afterwards, and then the problems continue, never being able to be solved. And that's the problem. In addition to not liking the truth, because Jamaicans don't like when you speak the truth, the unvarnished truth, that is, we don't like to solve problems. We don't like to solve problems. We wish our problems would just wither away. If we scream at it, if we yell at the problem, if we strike, we think that the problem will magically disappear. But that is not how this world operates. And I wish that was the way that life operates. I wish some of my problems would just vanish by my just screaming at it, and acting up. But that's not how it works. You have to think about solving the problem, right? That is what it's all about. Now, Portmore is in St. Catherine, and we know that Portmore is a big area, it's a big land mass, and it has been developed over the years, and but there are no hospitals in Portmore, my understanding. I think that there needs to be at least one public hospital in Portmore if it's desirous of becoming a parish. One, yes, you might have talks of having private hospitals, but we need to have a public hospital. Right now, the cost of living in Jamaica is too hefty, is too high for people to be going to private hospitals. So you need at least a public hospital in Portmore. So before we can say it's going to become a parish. Another thing that we need in Portmore, the people who live there, because they're bright people too, right? And you have a lot of students. When I taught at Kingston College, you have a lot of students who they commute from Portmore daily to these schools in Kingston, St. Andrew. I think that we need also to build at least a university, right, in Portmore, or have branches of UA and UTech in Portmore. Have some branches there that the students can also remain there, and they do not have to always be going on the highway back and forth to school, right? They can be educated in Portmore. I think also that as if it wants to become a parish, if Portmore is desirous of becoming a parish, that it needs to have a public library where students can go and they can read and they can do important research. If you have a university there, more importantly, you need a library that is well stacked and well resourced, right? So it's very important we have these amenities, these facilities, so that we can say that it deserves to become a parish. Now, there are individuals who are asking about their property, the property that they have. So right now they are in Portmore, it's a part of St. Catherine. So if Portmore should overnight become, if overnight it should become a parish, then what's going to happen to their property? Will it decrease in value? There are lots of things that have to be properly ironed out before we can say that this is going to become a parish or not. I think that we need to sit down and look carefully at what we are talking about. Also, the whole matter of, and I think I've published a video on this before, but it doesn't seem like I'm able to find it. The whole matter of the PNP and the JLP in terms of their constituency. The PNP is suggesting that the JLP wants it to become a parish because the mayor, they can have their mayor, I think they will divide the land mass off and they'll cut off that particular area of St. Catherine. And I think right now the current mayor, is the current mayor PNP? And I think that he's complaining that it's a ploy of the JLP to cut off a certain point so that they could replace him with a JLP mayor. Now, I don't know if that is true, but there's some merit to that because everything in Jamaica is political. Nothing is there being done in the interest of the people. I would say 99% of the things the politicians do in Jamaica, be they PNP or JLP, is political. And we must understand that. And Jamaicans need to see and to stand up and to voice their concerns and to say what is in their best interest. Because oftentimes politicians are doing what is in the interest of the elite class, the business elite, the commercial elites, and also their interest because they get their cut, right? They get their bribes and stuff like that. So we have to also understand that, and we have to read between the lines. I have been suggesting that to you, that the government is not the one running the show per se. They are the face, right, of these industries. But you must understand that behind the scenes, there are moneyed interests, there are financial interests that would like Portmore to become a parish and what they can do and not do, right? So we must understand that and begin now to think for ourselves and to think critically and independently. So the gleaner this morning is, well, RGR, I think it was yesterday, reported that residents protest against Portmore becoming a parish, and this was on RGR News. Residents of Portmore appear to be unclear about how the municipality becoming a parish would affect them and their investments. On February 11th, the government, leveraging its parliamentary majority, passed a bill to amend the Counties and Parishes Act of 1867 to establish Portmore as Jamaica's newest parish. The bill has been sent to the Senate for approval before becoming law. So the people are against it, and they're suggesting here is one person who opposes Portmore, resident in St. Catherine. My house, my documents, everything is in the parish of St. Catherine. And that's a very good point. How am I going to change that now? Where am I going to go to change it, or how much is it going to cost me to make all those changes? And these are very valid questions. My house, my documents, and everything that I have, this person suggesting, is in the parish of St. Catherine. So when that is changed, and what cost is it going to be to her or to this person who is, actually protesting? Another of the protesters is suggesting here, I hope that the government can meet with the people of Portmore and we decide. Bring it to a referendum then, where we decide if we want a 15th parish or not, because it no make no sense. We fight for our own elected mayor, and now, a year after election, you're going to move him from us. Who's going to represent us? He questioned, and that's a very good question. And this is what I was trying to, and I think he was more eloquent than I did in terms of talking about the mayor. The mayor is currently a PNP official, right? And if Portmore should become a 15th parish, then that mayor might be replaced, because isn't the mayor of St. Catherine? I'm not sure. But that is how the thing is run. Mayor Leon Thomas, Spanish Town Mayor Norman Scott, People's National Party spokesman on Portmore Affairs, Fitz Jackson, and several councillors from both municipal corporations joined citizens in the protest. So we're seeing here where the citizen, this particular protester, the citizen was asking some bad questions. Their documents, their houses, right? All of that. What is going to become of those things? Because they are registered right now as being in the parish of St. Catherine. So if Portmore becomes a 15th parish, it's no longer going to be in the county or the parish of St. Catherine. So, so what's going to happen to their documents, and who is going to pay for them to take care of these documents and the transfer of property rights into another parish? We've got to think before we act. And our politicians often do not like to think, because they do what is politically convenient to them and not to the constituents. And this is what I've been saying on this channel for a long time, that our politicians are not particularly concerned about the plight, the economic and political and social plight of the Jamaican people. They tend to be concerned about their interests and the interests of the ruling class. Now, the Gleaner is reporting, I think this was yesterday, well, Tuesday here, guys, this morning, Portmore Parish push triggers protests in municipality. And the controversy surrounding the move to designate Portmore as Jamaica's 15th parish escalated on Monday as scores of residents, backed by high-ranking People's National Party officials and municipal councillors, took to the streets in protest. The demonstration, which began as early as 5:30 a.m. along Dawkins Drive, saw placard-bearing protesters voicing their frustration with the government's decision to push ahead with a plan without what they deem to be adequate consultation. Now, this is good, and I must commend our citizens for doing this. And I'm not saying here now that this is all political, because the residents are right here, that the government needs to have a town hall meeting. He needs to consult with the people for them to express their concerns. And then they can look at the pros and the cons, and a resolution can be crafted and implemented. But we can't just say that, our citizens and their thought processes, their concerns are not valid. And this is what the reigning government, the incumbent government, is doing. The main concerns raised, the Gleaner is reporting here, were the lack of public engagement before the bill was introduced in Parliament, and the absence of key infrastructure such as a hospital, a market, and a courthouse, key facilities that other parishes have. So I left out the market, which you should have a market. In fact, they should even have and also large supermarkets and a courthouse. That's important. And I think they should have a library. I think that Portmore needs a world-class modern library. We don't always talk about education, but education is key to development. Education is key to development. And one of the things that is very, very sad about our people is that there is a lack of development of the mind. There is a lack of development of the intellect in Jamaica. And oftentimes when we're talking about development, we're just looking at high-rise buildings. These high-rise buildings, one, they can't be afforded by the regular, the ordinary, the common, the everyday citizen of Jamaica. They can't afford them, right? But there is development, right? When we talk about development, we talk about these superficial things. But I would rather if we had fewer high-rise buildings, fewer skyscrapers in Jamaica, and we had more, our country was dotted with more schools, with more libraries, and with more intelligent people. It would make Jamaica a much more habitable place to live in, rather than having all of these, names of parish. I don't care if Portmore wants to be called a parish or not, right? If it has earned that right, then yes, by all means, name it a parish. So as the citizens are suggesting, if it has a courthouse, if it has a market, if it has a hospital, it has very good schools, and at least a university or branches of a university. So you could have different branches of UTech and the University of the West Indies in Portmore. You have the land space that they can build some buildings to accommodate students from the University of the West Indies and to develop our nation. The University of the West Indies is too elitist a university. And it's not really doing much to develop Jamaica in any way. So might as well you broaden your base and have more students attend there and stop this elitist British sort of behavior. One of the protesters here suggesting here in the Gleaner, I'm here standing up because I don't believe that Portmore should be a parish. Reason being, the government sidestepped us by going overboard and passed a bill in Parliament without consultation with we, the residents, said resident Natasha Brown. I believe we, the residents of Portmore, should be consulted so we could cast a vote to make this important decision. So that is how it should be done. And we have to agree with the people. And the people here are demonstrating a superior level of intelligence than the incumbent government, because that is what they should have done. The people should not have to tell them to do that. That proper consultation should be done. And the pros and the cons should be properly assessed and examined. Right? But that wasn't done. Our politicians just want to run roughshod over our people and do whatever they want to do. Right? And that is why, look at what is happening to Usain Bolt. Nothing's going to happen because guess what? Jamaica is a lawless country. And the politicians and the elites are telling him that, look here, we can do whatever we want to do, including stealing your money. And what are you going to do about it? Just like they did to the FinSac people, the FinSac people. They said, we stole your money, we sold your houses, we kicked you out of your houses. What are you or what can you do about it? And that is what I am telling you, that this Jamaica that you're seeing is a nice country. I mean, I left you, and everything's sweet and everything copacetic, right? If you think that that's a nice Jamaica, if you think that is a nice Jamaica, it's because you're looking at the superficial things. If you understand the history, if you understand what is taking place at the moment, are living representations of what took place in history and continue and will never stop until we educate ourselves about the harsh realities of Jamaica, then we are the coldness. And Jamaicans have this cold formality. The elites, yeah, and some of them speak very nicely, but they're cold. They're cold, right? And they will ensure, if they don't like you, that you are destroyed. That is the country that you call Jamaica. And I think that is what they are doing to Usain Bolt, right? 68-year-old woman who had her money in SSL also, she lost $60 million in SSL. $60 million, and these people don't have any heart. And this is a lady who's a senior citizen. And that the thing that hurts the most is that she just sold a plot of land that I think a family member had bequeathed her. And she used that money, everything that she got from the proceeds of the land, to invest in SSL, thinking that it would have yielded her some amount of interest, right? And on her investment, and she has woken up some years ago to find out that all of that money has been lost. And she had to be sedated because she was suffering from severe anxiety. Now, this is a country that you say you love. And sweet, sweet Jamaica, na left ya, me akia me salvish, na left ya. Right? This is the sort of Jamaica that you love. Right? But when you look beneath the veneer, when you look beneath the surface, what you're seeing is a very hideous Jamaica. Right? It's a hideous Jamaica. And Usain Bolt, and it broke my heart when he said it. It broke my heart when the young man said, because whether we like him or not, and I don't hate you, Usain Bolt's nice, who would hate him? He's a very nice young man. Right? And he has, whether we like it or not, I'm not necessarily a sports person, but we have to understand that whatever it is, he put Jamaica on the map too. Right? He solidified our status on the world. Because what is happening in Jamaica is really nothing is going on there. So might as well, we have some entertainers who put us on the map. because we're underdeveloped, not only with regard to our physical infrastructure, but with regard to our minds. Jamaica has nothing much going on for it. Yes, we have produced a few, educated and very sophisticated people, but for the most part, we haven't. The majority of our populace are not. Right? And people look at the majority. They're not going to look at the minority. The majority, when people go to Jamaica and they see the large majority of our people underdeveloped, right? And uneducated, unsophisticated, uncivilized, they're going to just leave with the impression that Jamaica is an uncivilized country, right? They're not going to look at the few who are going to UWI and UTech and the Northern Caribbean University and the language that they speak and how they comport themselves. That's not what they're looking at. They're looking at the ordinary man on the street pushing his cart, right? And trying to eke out a basic standard of living. That is what they're looking at, right? And I think now is the time for us, if we really want Portmore to become the 15th parish of Jamaica, to look closely, very importantly, at education, the investment into the human resources, into our people, right? And I would say hospital is number one. Educational facilities, higher education facilities, branches you might want to have, as I'm suggesting, of UWI. So you can have buildings there of the Faculty of Arts and Sciences or whatever you want to have there, and give students the option to remain there and to study. A library, a big, massive library, a skyscraper library, a high-rise library with books, not just to have the building, but to have books and other materials, computers and whatever that students need to be able to function, right? We need to have that. And we need, in fact, maybe what you can have in Portmore also, because many people are suggesting they have to travel abroad to go to do very complex surgeries. Why not have a state-of-the-art hospital there in Portmore that everybody can go to, whether they're from Kingston? So you have all of these, very high-tech medical equipment that are there that you'll find in any first world country, any developed nation. Put that in Portmore, and then let Portmore have that. But you also have to, in addition to that, in addition to what I've just said, you need also to consult the people in terms of how their properties are going to be transferred and their documents, as the lady was suggesting. One of the protesters said, which are valid points. Who's going to pay for all of that? Their birth certificates and all of the things, their documents, their IDs, and the transfer, will the government be doing that free of cost? Their properties and the valuation of their properties. These are important matters that need to be discussed. You can't just say you're going to change something into a parish as if you're changing your socks or changing your shirt. And that is how the government is behaving like a little child. This is a project of great magnitude, right? That really will change people's lives, right? So I hope that you understand what I'm saying. I'm not on the JLP side, neither am I on the PNP side. I'm just looking at the matter objectively and fairly. That, yes, I would agree that Portmore could become another parish or the 15th parish, but these are the factors. These are the appropriate measures that must be taken before Portmore can become the 15th parish of Jamaica. Jamaica land we love. Thank you so much for joining. I hope that you'd like, share, and subscribe. Remember to like the videos can be shared with as many people on the platform. See you in another one.